Namaste to all the masters. I welcome all of you to another powerful session of WeDhyan Wednesday. My heartfelt pranamas to Guruji Patriji. Today we all are here and so many people across the world are meditating today. They all are realizing the power of meditation, and one of the organizations which is taking meditation to the entire women's community is WeDhyan. Every Wednesday we gather here for to meditate, to know about the right things, and also to share our experiences. So, today, before we go ahead with our topic, I would like to announce one very important thing. So, on today's 3rd June and in the upcoming month, which is in July, 5th of July, Sunday, it is going to mark a major milestone in Vidhyan's journey, as we are going to open Vidhyan's office cum meditation center in Bangalore. So all people are invited there, all men, women, children, all of you are invited there. It is going to be an office and a meditation center for exclusively for women, but on the day of inauguration, every master is invited there. So the address, the venue, and the exact Google location, I will share it in the Vidhyan groups in the upcoming days. So please be a part of Vidhyan group. I request Rachna to kindly post the WhatsApp link of our Vidhyan group here so that anyone who's new here can join the groups. So the address will be shared very soon. I request all the masters to come along with your family members and friends. It would be a great grand celebration on that day. We would inaugurate office. There will be meditation with live music, and a lot many announcements will happen on that day. So apart from that, next month, another thing which is coming up is our powerful Leh Ladakh trip, which is going to happen in the week of Guru Purnima, that is July 24th to 30th. The trip starts from Bangalore and it ends at Bangalore. So, a group of us, and this time exclusively, everybody, the trip is open for all. So, almost the registrations are almost towards closing. So, anyone who's still interested can be a part of the Leh Ladakh trip. And in this month, on 21st of June, Vidhyan is organizing International Yoga Day in Vishakhapatnam. So, all of you, all the masters are welcome to Vizag. We will be having a very grand program in Vizag on the occasion of International Yoga Day, of course, followed by Dhyana Yoga. So, please be a part of it, do not miss. And for all the updates which will happen in future, to get a information about it, please be a part of Vidhyan WhatsApp group so that you keep receiving all the information. Now let us go towards our session. So from last 2 weeks, we have been corely addressing about all the issues that have been happening in the women, right? So we have discussed about the hormonal imbalances and how do we set hormonal imbalances naturally, how do we come out of it. Also, we have addressed a major issue which happens in women, which is called as PCOD last week. And this week, we are going to address another issue which generally a woman suffers a lot, which is thyroid. Now, for the remaining people who may not have thyroid, but still, I would recommend you highly to listen to this session because a lot of things will open up to you that how the throat chakra works, and sometimes you might not have visibly the symptoms of thyroid, but still if you see the energetic patterns of it, you also could be suffering through the same kind of patterns. So please stick till the end of the session so that you understand what exactly happens when our throat chakra is balanced and what exactly happens when the throat chakra is imbalanced. All the Q&A and any kind of clarifications, I would give it in the end of the session. Okay. So it is said that women approximately 3 times more are likely than men develop this thyroid, which is also called as hypothyroidism. So this is nothing but thyroid imbalance, or this is nothing but the effect one has in their throat. So this is generally observed in an age group mostly from 46 to 54, but in recent times it has been reported that even the youngsters who are in their teenage, also people who are in their 20s 30s, also are undergoing this issue a lot. If we see in India, 1 out of 8 women have developed this thyroid disorder during their lifetime. So let us understand what is this thyroid imbalances and what it does medically from the medical perspective in a woman. So it is basically an autoimmune condition. Okay. And medically it is said that it comes through genes, it comes through hormonal changes, it comes once a woman goes through the pregnancy and postpartum changes. It comes during the menopause transitions. It comes because of chronic stress. It also comes because of sleep disturbance. It also comes because of the nutrition deficiency, and which is iodine, selenium, and iron, and etc. Okay. But what what exactly, these are certain things which we have talked from medical perspective, like what reasons contribute to it. But if we see physically what are the symptoms of thyroid is women gaining a lot of weight or losing a lot of weight despite eating normally, a rapid heartbeat, excess sweating, a kind of intolerance towards heat, increased bowel movements, usually experiencing a lot of fatigue or low energy, feeling cold very easily, having dry skin, hair fall, puffiness of face, constipation, slow metabolism, heavy or irregular periods, and also fertility issues. So, these are some of the symptoms of thyroid. But we know that this session is not about understanding a disorder through the medical perspective or the symptoms, but to see what are the unseen energetic symptoms or patterns which actually causes the root cause of a particular disorder, and also to understand how karma impacts in creation of such a disorder, and what when we do these things normally and naturally settle down, or a person recovers or heals through it. All right. So just go to your past, or even you can analyze in the current situation. Was there any time, or is this the time when you feel one of these things are happening to you or has happened to you, where you feel nobody listens to me? Nobody listens to me. Either that was a phase in your life, or right now it is a phase in your life where you feel nobody listens to you, or you, most of the times, you feel unheard, or you feel the opinions that you are giving are mostly ignored, or you are that person who struggle a lot to express yourself freely, or you do not have the confidence to speak, either with a particular person or in a group or in public. If you have this, then these are the energetic symptoms of having the thyroid disorder. So, before going deep into it, let us understand which chakra directly gets affected when thyroid disorder is found. So, thyroid happens when the throat chakra, which is also called as the Vishuddha chakra, is imbalanced or it is blocked. That means a person, when he's facing issues around expression, communication, about knowing or expressing the truth, or is having issues with being heard, or he has issues with speaking, or any kind of creative expressions, that time this disorder is usually developed. So that is the reason why, if you would have heard my previous sessions, I always emphasize a lot on expression of one's own self. So when we express, when we speak, when we talk, that makes a lot of difference in our spiritual world. It just doesn't make a difference in your regular physical world, but also it makes a great difference in the spiritual world. So I will tell you the soul patterns behind it. There are majorly two soul patterns which actually contributes towards thyroid or this thyroid disorder. If we see energetically or if we see karmically, okay? So what is this? The first soul pattern, the soul pattern where the karma of silencing others. This is one soul pattern where there is a karma of a person silencing others. So, what happens in this pattern? The person who's suffering, that person would have repeatedly used his authority, his power, his influence to manipulate others or emotionally control others or to silence others. For example, a leader who has never listened, a parent who have always suppressed their children's voice. We see some families, or it would have happened to us in our childhood, or we would have seen in our movies, where a person goes or a child goes and talks. First, the parent hits or the parent scolds, and only then he listens to the child. So, there, what is happening? A parent is suppressing the voice of a child, right? Or it could also, this pattern results because a husband who has controlled his wife, or a teacher who has humiliated the students for speaking, or it could be because a community leader has ignored the people's concerns. So the core energy here which is operating is my voice matters, whereas the other's voice does not matter. We see these kind of people in our life where they express, they speak, but when it comes to others' voice, they do not encourage it. So, what happens for such kind of people over a period of time? The soul develops an imbalance around the communication, which is the throat chakra. Communication always happens from here, right? Most of the times, communication happens from here, correct? We speak and we communicate. The session is happening. I'm speaking and I'm communicating to you, correct? We have to put any request, or we want to demand anything, or we want to put our word. How do we do it? The main part of the communication is always the voice, always your words, correct? So when a person silences others, or they misuse their authority, or their relationship status, or their powers to silence others. It could be anybody. When you silence others and you misuse your rights, at that point of time, the soul develops this imbalance in the throat chakra, which eventually later the karma returns. Whatever we give, we get it back. So the karma returns. So in future experiences, that could be over a decade or mostly this happens over lifetimes. So what happens? The karma returns in the future experiences of the soul, because we are not just this body, we are the soul who takes number of rebirths until our karma is finished, until we have attained the mukti, moksha, or enlightenment. So the soul which takes rebirth, the soul which has silenced other in one of the past lifetimes, and when it takes the future births, what happens? The soul chooses circumstances where it experiences exactly the opposite side. So now that person will be in a place where nobody listens to them. Often this happens where a person is trying to speak. It could be as a student in a school who always tries to speak, but nobody listens to them. Or whenever they speak at any point of time, they feel they are unheard. That means they have put their point, but it's unheard. Or they have given their opinion very strongly, but the opinion is ignored. So these people are choose the roles where they struggle to express themselves. They want to express, but they find huge struggle to express themselves. It could be just with a life partner, it could be just with the family member, it could be with a closed group, or it could be with the society, or in the place where they're working, but they struggle a lot. And they continuously see that their confidence of speaking is decreasing. So here the lesson is, learn the value of every voice. Because previously communication became one way, now it has affected their throat chakra. That throat chakra loses balance because expression always was there one sided and listening was never there. So, in this lifetime, when the soul learns to listen, when the soul learns the subject of humility, when the soul learns respectful communication, when the soul honors the truth in others, that is when this pattern is broken and they come out of it. Interesting, right? Now, this is pattern one. Now, let us listen to the second pattern. Let us understand the second pattern. The second pattern, why the throat chakra is imbalanced. Here is the karma of being silenced. That means in their previous lifetime, they were not the leader who have silenced others, but they were in the group which got silenced. That means that person was never the husband who has controlled the wife, but that soul was in the role of the wife who was always controlled. So here the soul was not the one who has not he has not taken the role of the parent who have suppressed the voice of their children, but it was the child who always got suppressed. So the soul was always on the other role where they got suppressed, where they got dominated, where they got emotionally controlled, where they got punished for speaking, where they got rejected for expressing the truth. So here they did not act upon it, but they have bared it. So what happens? Over the period of time, the soul develops a survival strategy. It is safer to remain silent. And over multiple experiences, silence becomes habitual. I'll tell you one thing, a thought which is sown, it becomes action. A action which is sown, that means which is sown means which is done number of times, it becomes a habit. A habit which when is repeated over number of years or decades, it becomes a character. And a character which is sown or which becomes hard becomes the destiny. So a person who would have got silenced number of times, number of experiences or number of years, they come to a conclusion where they say, it's better to be silent, or that silence becomes a habit. We all know for forming a habit, 21 days is enough, right? We exercise for 21 days. We easily exercise on 22nd day. We sit in meditation for 21 days. On 22nd day, it becomes very easy. We wake up early for 21 days. It becomes very easy for us to get up on the 22nd day. That means the body takes 21 days to form a habit. Imagine a child from his childhood, from the age of almost 5 to 15 or 5 to 18, he was always silenced. So it becomes his second nature not to express, or he forms a very strong habit. It's better to be silent. So what happens? He never expresses because that pattern has now got stored in his subconscious mind. So he acts accordingly. So that is why it is very important for us to constantly keep analyzing ourselves constantly. We must understand, from where are we coming? Have we committed a crime, or we were a victim in that? Whatever is your role, you have to be conscious enough to come out of that pattern. Some people are depressed because they have done so much of abuse to others in their past lifetimes, but some people are depressed because they were habitual to be depressed. Whatever is the case, the soul loses a lot of energy when it is depressed, and it has to come out of it consciously. Either you were in the role where you have abused, or you were in the role where you were a victim. The soul has consciously chosen those roles for certain experiences. Even to go into depression and to come out of it, for soul, both of them are the same equal experiences. you know Only when you go into depression, you come out of it, and okay, I have got that victory. To even enjoy success, you have to go through failure, right? So it is very important for a person to go through grief and then come out of the grief. Then he will know exactly what cycle it is. Just like a businessman, you ask a businessman, he's never fearful of anything because he would have started from scratch. He would have developed the empire. He would have lost it multiple number of times, and he has the experience of raising it again from the scratch and going to the top. So if even if a millionaire or billionaire loses his entire money, they're never afraid of it because they know the art of going to the top from the scratch. But if you go to an employed person or a salaried person, today lot of layoffs are going off, are happening around. So many IT people, corporate people are losing their job, and they're in highest fear. Why? Because they know to go into get a job, be in the job, serve, and get salary. So suddenly, if that is gone out of their hands, they don't know how to again get into another job, or it might be very difficult because of huge competition, because they have been a part of a system, but they have never developed a system. So, but a businessman will always know, will not have fear because he have seen both the end of the cycles. Similarly, going into certain things, having ill health and coming out of the ill health and again being healthy, for a soul, it is the richest experience. Going down and again coming to the top, it is the richest experience. Suffering from anxiety and coming out of it is the richest experience for the soul, because it is the greatest achievement of both downfall and also the upwave. So, either you are on any kind of roles that you have chosen in your previous lifetime. But what is important in this lifetime is to consciously identify a pattern and to come out of it. In most of my counselings, what do? I allow people to talk. There are so many programs in WeDhyan which I keep doing so that the women gets empowered. both online, offline. So, what I do there, I allow women to talk. I allow them to talk. When they talk, especially in the presence of a master, especially in a place where they are heard, without any judgment, a lot of healing happens within them. The throat chakra opens up, and from there, lot of resolutions happen. So, please check the patterns in yourself if you have the fear to speak, or do you have the fear of getting judged, or do you have suppressed emotions inside you. Suppressed emotions also happens because of the imbalance in the second chakra, also imbalance in the throat chakra. How do you express yourself? Any emotions or any thoughts, it is best expressed through the words. If something is blocked here, it will also block the system inside, right? If a water pipe is there, the pipe is blocked. What happens? The water gets jammed inside it, right? So, similarly, and a pressure builds up inside. Similarly, if you are unable to express, the unexpressed matter is inside, and that creates a huge tension which comes out in the body in form of diseases, ill health, stress, anxiety, depression. That's why expression is very important. And why I say expression for women is very important is women were trained from the families, from the society to always be silent so as to maintain the peace in the family or in the society, which is very wrong. Once a woman expresses, once she's free, naturally the abundance flows inside her and naturally that reflects in the society. A woman should never be silenced. If you know any women who has been silenced, please pass on this session to her and ask her to express herself so that the old patterns breaks and the new energy flows. So what happens when the throat chakra becomes closed? If the throat chakra is closed, see, if you see, this is like a tunnel. You see, the throat is like a tunnel. So it is a bridge between what, your base chakras and your higher chakras. So this is a journey where a person, this is a journey of enlightenment. Your throat chakra is is a journey of enlightenment. Before meditation, a person is always in the base chakras, thinking about the survival, thinking about their desires, thinking about a position and power in the society, thinking about their connections. That's it. But once a person steps into meditation, that means in the journey of the tunnel, in the journey of dissolving the karma, that is when he comes into meditation. That is when he closes these two eyes, and that is when the third eye gets activated. That is when the connections gets opened up. In the heart, the connection is from person to person, but here the connection is from you to divine, you to other souls, you to the other worlds, you to the higher energies. So when the throat chakra is blocked, naturally the base chakras will also be blocked, because this is a way to come out. For example, in your home, there is a main door, okay? That main door is a bridge between you to step out. If the door is jammed, if the door is not getting opened, what happens? You stay inside. For how many days? If the door is jammed for weeks, months, years, imagine your situation inside a closed home. What happens? You feel claustrophobic, correct? Sometimes in claustrophobic nature, a person also goes to death because he's not able to bear the closed environment. Imagine if you have a blocked throat chakra, you're unable to express. What happens? Your base chakras suffer because there is no route for it to come out. That's why people, especially who are not meditating, they suffer a lot with diseases, with anxiety, depression, cancer, BP, grief. don't know what to say, where to say, how to express. Why? Throat chakra is blocked. And when I say express, it's not just saying I went through these things, I went through these things. No. The healing starts when you meditate plus expression. What expression? Expression of not what pains you have gone through, but expression of the blocked energy inside. Now, a death has happened in your family, okay? You will express it. Then you'll say, I've already expressed that somebody died, I'm feeling bad, but still that grief is not going. Because the grief is not just coming from this lifetime, it is coming from the past lifetimes, and you do not remember the incidents of your past lives. The memory is faded, the pain alone has got transferred. So you say grief is there, grief is there, I don't know why. If you're saying something, some emotion is coming but you don't know why, that means it's coming from the past life. So what you do not remember, how can you express? That's where meditation comes into picture, where the cosmic energy which has entered your body heals the unresolved or invisible or unidentified pains. Additionally, when you express, expression is not speaking what has happened, but expression can happen through singing, by playing flute, by playing sitar, by playing veena, by dancing, by creative arts. When you do it, what happens? The energy, the blocked energy inside you comes out in form of arts. Therefore, you're not harming anyone, but still you're expressing the blocked energy, it's getting released. There are so many other ways to release the energies, but if the throat chakra is blocked, the root chakra is blocked, that means you'll have a constant threat of your safety. Your second chakra, swadhisthana or sacral chakra, is blocked, that means your emotions will always be imbalanced. And also your third chakra, solar plexus, also called as manipura, even that will be blocked. That means you'll always have identity issues. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I supposed to do? Why I'm not getting respect in the society? All these things, and because of which failed connections happens. That means heart to heart connections are broken. So many relationship issues, so many divorces, so many people parting ways. Why? They're not able to connect with each other. And never think if you're not able to connect with others, it's a great sign of spirituality. No. A spiritual person always connects with other person beautifully. If you're not able to connect with others freely, that means your heart chakra is blocked. You see a Buddha, you see a Mahavira, you see Patriji, all these great masters. You see Gandhiji, who has got great revolution. You see Mother Teresa, who's known for her service, heart chakra. What do? They connect with everybody, right? That means it is a sign that their heart chakra is blossoming. But in case if you have issues connecting with people, or you're a person who have issues in your relationships, that means you have blocked heart energies and imbalanced heart energies. So whatever it is, you have suppressed other voices, or you have suppressed your own voices, you have an imbalanced throat chakra. So I'll tell you one of the case studies, where a woman who was 35 years old, she had a thyroid imbalance, she had anxiety issues, she had emotional suppression issues. She always used to say, I cry a lot, but I don't know why. Even after crying, I feel drained out, and I really don't know what is happening. When the Akashic record decode session was done to her, the Akashic patterns have shown that in multiple lifetimes, she was in a role of, she was in an authoritative role, where she was directly responsible for controlling a huge organization, a lot of people. And there, she did not address what she said. Because it is lot of people, the intensity is huge. If you suppress only one person, the intensity only that much will come. If you have suppressed thousands of people, that much intensity will come. If you have suppressed crores of people, that much you have to suffer. So when I told her this is the interpretation, this is the reason why, you feel you're not able to express your emotions. This is the reason why you feel the emotions are not expressed. She's crying and there is no solution. But when I told her this is where from your past is coming, the awareness itself changes lot of things. Additionally, I guided her to quit non-veg. I guided her to be a complete vegetarian because how much ever you meditate, if you are a non-vegetarian, if you are directly or indirectly involved with the killing of animals, or you're contributing your money towards meat eating, some mothers, they don't cook but they give money to their children, go, you go and eat outside. What happens? Your energy, that how are you earning that money? Through your karma, by hard work. But ultimately when that money, your energy, it could be in the form of your physical presence, or through your money, when you contribute towards meat eating, you're still involved in the harming the animals. You're still involved in himsa. When you are harming others, why will you be spared? In the eyes of the universe, everybody is same. Could be that ant, could be that sheep, or could be you. Everybody's life is life. So until you're not in the path of vegetarianism, until you have become a strict vegetarian where you don't kill, where you don't sell meat, where you don't buy meat, where you don't cook meat, where you don't serve meat, where you don't feed meat, and you don't eat meat, or you do not give your money towards meat eating, until you become a strict vegetarian, manasa vacha karmana, you have not stepped into the world of ahimsa. And until you have not stepped there, how much ever you meditate, it is not going to work out. So I always request all the masters, all the women, first be a vegetarian, then you meditate. So because being a vegetarian is not a luxury, it is the basic mandatory thing that one has to do. Another case study where a woman who was 46 years old, she had chronic thyroid issue. She had beautiful, strong intelligence, but she had very much difficulty in speaking it out. So, when the Akashic record counseling was done, one of the Akashic pattern was in one of the lifetimes, she was a charismatic speaker. But with her words, she manipulated and controlled a very large group. A lot of people who used to, when there is a great speaker, there are always followers, right? So there were so many followers for her, but she has used her speech and she has directed lot of people towards the wrong path. So therefore she has misused her speech. Therefore this time she has struggles trusting her own voice. She had great public speaking fear. She constantly doubted herself. She said, I tried multiple times in my school, in my colleges, in my office, multiple times to step on the stage and, speak. But whenever I go, I sweat and I forget my speech. Lot of us, in our childhood, we would have had a stage fear. But once or twice or thrice or five times when we tried, we came out of it, right? But there are people who cannot come out of it because the strong reason lies from the past life. When I told her who was she, in which lifetime, what era, how she has, influenced people wrongly, and what when she does now, she'll come out of it, she was surprised. And within 10 months, when she did all the inner work which I've told her, along with the practice of meditation, along with following being a vegetarian, when she has done the other inner work, very naturally within 10 minutes, 10 months, she was able to come out of it. So, thyroid or throat chakra imbalance is not which is caused merely because of sleep disturbance, merely because of hormonal imbalance, or merely just after the pregnancy or postpartum. No, there are so many women who have gone through all these stages. There's so many women who doesn't have proper sleep. There's so many women who have hormonal imbalances, but for everybody, thyroid doesn't come. Only for certain women it comes because the reason does not the reasons are not the sleep deprivation or hormonal imbalances or the pregnancy or any other thing, but it comes from your deeds, what you have done in the past lifetimes. So some souls carry karma because they silenced others, some souls carry karma because they allowed themselves to be silenced. But in both cases, healing begins when truth is allowed to flow again. So remember, my dear friends, the deepest healing is of the throat chakra is not when you learn to speak loudly, but it starts when you learn to express truth without fear, and also when you listen to others without control. So, this is the huge takeaway for all of us today. How much importance is there to speaking our own truth? That much importance is also there for listening. When we listen to others, we are also healing our past karma. So, therefore, be a good listener and be that person in the society who speaks the truth. And what is truth? Ahimsa is the truth. Practicing right meditation, anapanasati, which gives a person the liberation from all the past sufferings. That is the truth. Thank you very much, Masters. This is the end for today's session. And once again, I request all the Masters next month, 5th July, please come to Bangalore and be the part of the WeDhyan office come meditation center inauguration. Be a part of it. Today's era, tomorrow's era is women's era. The women will bring revolution in this world with the practice of anapanasati meditation and with spiritual empowerment, and vidhyan will become the base for that spiritual evolution and revolution in tomorrow's world. So I sincerely request the presence of all the masters on that day, on 5th July Sunday, to be a part of Vidhyan's office inauguration. All the details will be forwarded in the group very soon. So please be the part of Vidhyan's WhatsApp groups. And also, July 24th to July 30th, we all are traveling to Leh Ladakh on the occasion of Guru Purnima. We are almost in the verge of the closure. Anyone who's still interested, please be a part of this trip. Whoever in your circle is suffering a lot, especially, recommend this trip to them so that they can be a part of the trip. They can meditate there a lot, and hence they will undergo a lot of transformation in their life. Thank you very much, Masters. Again, I'll see you all on the next Wednesday with another powerful session of Vidhyan. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend ahead. I'll see you all very soon.